Greetings from the Eccentric Man, and today's game is a beach landing, the US Marines versus the Japanese. The Eccentric Man YouTube channel is kindly sponsored by Mick and John at Lost Ark Games in Stevenage. Check them out online or in store for all your hobby needs. The game we're going to be playing is from the campaign book Mariana and Palau Islands. We're going to start the Saipan battles again. So this is the first one, and I'll go through some of the information on the scenario that is a little bit confusing. So to work out what you have to do for the scenario, you've got to look at three parts of the book. So the first one is Scenario 1, D-Day in Saipan, and that then tells you that you're going to be playing a beach landing. So you got to look up the beach landing information, and then not only you got to look at those objectives, you've also got to look at the victory points, which are at the beginning of the book. So it does make it a little bit confusing when you're trying to play the game and work out what you've got to do. However, we are going to do the beach landing. So with that, so the board is divided up into four areas: deep water, where it can only be amphibious units or ships. The next one is shallow water, which is rough ground. Then we've got the beach, which is rough ground. And then we've got the deployment zone for the defenders. And they're all 12 inches. So yeah, movement for vehicles, so ships, is in the main bolt action, or one of them. There's nothing that tells you very simple that ships can move 6 inches and amphibious vehicles can move half their normal move, which is 9 inches normally down to 4.5. So it does make it quite tricky getting across the table. So for a landing craft, it's going to take you 2 turns to get to shallow water, and then it's going to take you another 2 turns to get up to the sand. For amphibious vehicles, it's going to take you 5 turns, at least 5 turns to get up to 5 or 6 turns to get up to the sand. So it is a tough challenge. So for my Marines, everything has to come on in transports. So I've got the LCM at the top carrying the tank. I've got a Buffalo, and I've got a smaller landing craft, which is mostly all enclosed. And they can carry various troop sizes. But for mine, I've got 3 sections of Marines, and they're all the same: an NCO with an SMG, 3 bars, 3 pistols, and 6 riflemen. So 4 have got tough fighter. I went for a Sherman M4A2. That would be coming in that big landing craft. I went for a second lieutenant with veteran and a mate. I've got a medic, and then I've got a flamethrower team, veteran, sniper veteran, a bazooka team veteran, and a medium mortar. No, 4 sections of Marines that I went with, and that was my army. It was up around about 1,500 points. So in the first wave, I went with the Buffalo, and that had the second lieutenant with his mate, 2 Marine sections. It had the medic, the flamethrower, the sniper, and the bazooka team. In reserve, I had the LCT with the Sherman and the LVT 4, and that had 2 Marine units and a medium mortar. So that was my army. As Colin was the defender, he only had 750 points. So he had 3 units with LMGs and the rest rifles. He had his officer there, which I think he was a first lieutenant. He had a big 150mm gun artillery piece. He had some horrible twin-barreled HMG, which was pretty costly, 140 odd points, but it had 8 shots of heavy machine gun. And then he had a little tank, and he had a mortar. And that was his army. He had some pillboxes and that he was setting his troops up in. He also went for a couple of sections of barbed wire, and for the barbed wire you need a roll of 6 unless you've got a pioneer team or engineers. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. You've got the victory points in 3 different positions. So working out what you needed to get and how to win is quite complicated. So what I had to do was to get units right up into the Japanese top of the table edge and stop the Japanese coming onto the beach and try not to lose marine units and try and take out some Japanese. And if I hit the scenario at the end, then I'd win. Back to Colin's tonight for a game of bolt action. We haven't been to Colin's, I keep saying this when we play Colin, for a long time.
You just hate me.
So we're playing Colin and we're starting the Saipan campaign again. So I'm going to be attacking the Japanese on this table. We're going to play scenario 1 out of the Mariana and Palau book, and with that I get 2 preliminary bombardments because I've ranged in with the ship off board, and I've got 2 dice to roll to see if I get 2 preliminary bombardments. We're going to use our modified results, so no 6s will do hits per se, they will just do 3 pins as they are, and that's about it. Colin's units are all hidden, so that means that they are, well, it doesn't matter anything for preliminary bombardment, but if they're dug in, which they can be, and they probably all are, they will get, if we were doing the 6s for a hit, and if they were going to get casualties, they always count as down, even if they've got no down dice. But there are bunkers, and that's a -1 off the dice to hit. So they're only ever going to get maximum of 2 pins on bunker. So let's see if we do actually get our preliminary bombardments to come in.
Yep.
And we do. I was just thinking that was going to get double 1, which would not be beyond...
That'd be hilarious.
Which would not have been beyond the realms of possibility, could it?
Nope.
Nope. Having done the roll for the preliminary bombardments, it's so tricky to say that word, we've gone through and Colin's going to read out the number of pins on the bunker.
Okay, the bunker is 2.
On 2.
The howitzer there is
Yep.
4.
Yep.
Mortar pit behind is 3.
Yep.
The officer behind the hut is 1.
Uh-huh.
The bunker at the front there is 4. That's
Yeah.
not so good.
Heavy machine gun in that one?
Yeah, there is, yeah, twin.
Yeah.
The hoggle is 3.
Uh-huh.
Bunker there is 2. And the final bunker is 2.
Excellent. I do like those little bunkers.
These are good, aren't they?
Mm. Yeah, nice ones.
They're not so versatile though.
No.
Well, that's better, isn't it? Because if I put a unit in there, it's only firing out.
It's only firing out the front. Yeah, I like those ones much better.
Oh, I thought you did. they are on a swivel though, they turn.
Well, my first wave is on the board.
It is the wave, isn't it?
It is my first wave.
Yeah.
And how it works out is that the first 12 inches is deep sea. The next 12 inches, for all intents and purposes with this table, is going to be very sodden, water-covered sand. So it's going to cover as shallow water. And then the next one where you've got the broken like sandiness going across, that's going to be the beach itself.
Yeah.
And then the next 12 inches is the ridge. And is that difficult ground?
Yeah, it's just difficult
It's
ground.
all difficult ground, isn't it? So
it's all
yeah.
jungle and whatever.
Yeah, so everything more or less is difficult ground. But I had to have half of my force in reserve. So as it's all waterborne transport, it doesn't leave me very much for different things. So I've got units in the other LVT, and I've got the Sherman in the LCM. So yeah, on it comes, on it trundles, and we can see the Japanese positions up ahead. And I've got some dice to roll. I've got 2 medium machine guns on the front of it, so I am going to fire at the big artillery piece, because it's a big artillery piece, and if it hits me, it's going to knock me out of the water. Mind you, the little gun on the tank, if it hits me, is going to knock me out of the water. Yep. But it's 6s followed by 6s, and Colin will get the gun shield as well. So I've got 10 dice to see what we get.
Within 36, go for it.
That is true.
Not sure as you are.
Have a measure, Colin.
I'll measure.
So measure from the gun.
The gun there? Yeah, I'll let you have that. That's
Oh, we are.
It's from that though, isn't it? Really?
No, from the guns.
From the guns to guns. Yeah.
Ah, excellent. So we do get. I'll get our guns. 10 shots. And we've got 1-6.
Pin you're after.
That's not going to be good, is it?
Oh no. Well, you get 1 more 6 with that 1-6.
1 more 6. That's all we need. 1 more 6.
Do a pin.
1 more 6. No. End of turn 1.
Yay!
And there we have the Americans landing, trying to land.
Well,
They've got a little bit of way to go yet. But Colin has rallied off most of the pins for all of his units.
Everything bar the howitzer.
Everything bar the big howitzer. So there's machine guns to come along with put pins on, and there's little tankies to fire and mortars to fire. So we're going to turn 2, and I can start to bring my reserves. Well, apart from a tank.
Apart from your tank.
Apart from a tank, which comes on turn 3.
Yeah.
So into turn 2. That was a quick turn 1.
Yeah.
Well, first dice out is for the Japanese. This could be interesting.
I don't know what to fire at you.
This could be interesting.
Heavy machine guns?
That could penetrate them.
8 shots?
8 shots. Oh, yeah.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
That's quite a lot.
And you were in range on there, so I should be in range from there.
You
36.
should be.
But that sounds more devastating if I hit him.
Well, they would all drown.
No, they wouldn't. They're swim.
They wouldn't.
Would they drown?
Yeah.
Or do I try a 5 or a 6?
If you blow it up, it will be gone.
Okay.
If it's immobilised, then it just drifts an inch towards the shore.
Drift is good.
Drift is good. It will take 3 turns to get to where they could jump out into shallow water.
This is where you've got to hit it.
Yeah.
So, if I fire now, I'm going to be on a 4.
You are.
That's the obvious shot, isn't it? Or I do these, and they're going to be on 4s as well. Providing that is with 36.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, probably 4, 5 because of the on the sea.
Do we get a -1 to hit you, isn't it?
Yeah, and the long range.
But that shows that. So it's a 5 for that. But the hit is more devastating.
Yeah.
Or 4 rounds with heavy machine guns. It would just be poetic justice to kill it with that, wouldn't it?
So Colin's going to fire his mortar. He's looking for a 5 this time.
I'm
because
seeing you from here, by the way.
Right.
I
With
thought
the,
you wouldn't see me there.
With the
Hidden medium mortar.
hidden medium mortar,
On a 5.
it's a 5 because it's a -1 on the dice for ranging in because he's set up for the invasion. So he needs a 5.
Needs 5. 6.
That's a 6. That is a hit. He would have got a lucky 6 anyway. So a medium mortar. That's going to
2-inch. Or is it inch? Is it that one?
I think
I
it's.
forget.
I think it's the.
The little one, isn't it? On the outside. It's 2-inch.
I think it is. Is it 2-inch? Yes, it is a 2-inch.
I think it's a 2-inch on a medium mortar.
I think you're going to get 4 at least.
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
And the medium's only -2.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite good though.
That is actually, isn't it?
Yeah. My next landing craft has come on the board. Let's see if we can get a bit of focus on possibly because. Yep. Second landing craft has come on the board, and I'm in deep water. So Colin had the decision whether he was going to fire direct with the big gun, but that would have been a 6, or he can lob it because he gets a -1 because of the pre-registered barrage or whatever it is. So he needs a 5 to hit my Ujima flip.
Ujima flip. 6.
Another 6.
Sorry, Ken.
So that is a big hit on my landing craft. We shall work out what it does and where they go back shortly.
So it hasn't penetrated it?
No. So we've looked at it it counts as an open topped. So Colin would have needed at least a 3 to penetrate and 2 to actually glance.
No, yeah. 3 to penetrate, 2 to glance.
Superficial, whatever it is now. But he rolled a 1, so it doesn't do anything.
And all you get is your D3 pins.
Just the D3 pins, yeah.
3?
3 pins is bad enough. However, it would have been pretty horrendous because if it had blown it up, then they wouldn't have been able to get out. Because it's deep water and they would have all drowned.
I'm wondering though if
because they could only dismount D6.
I'm wondering if you actually.
Quite a good round for the Japanese this time around. The infantry unit here got hit by the mortar on a 5. Well, in fact, it was a lucky 6 and it hit it. So that caused 4 casualties, which was a bit of a shame. So that was a bit of a pain, and the 3 pins to go with it as well. This unit here were hit by the heavy machine gun, which is in the little bunker there. 8 shots, apparently, that it gets for the heavy machine gun. It's a Japanese one. Quite expensive, 140 odd points. But it did kill 3 of my Marines. Or 4 of my Marines, even. And they were then shot at by the LMG over in the little bunker there, and that caused another casualty. So in fact they've lost 5 all told out of this. They got 2 pins. Another lucky shot, where is it, from the howitzer with a lob. Again, it was a natural 6, but Colin only needed a 5, and it survived, which was good, because otherwise everyone would have drowned, because they're in deep water and they wouldn't have been able to get out of deep water when they dismounted. But the real killer is, again, it's got 3 pins, and that is not going to move very well this turn around. So things are not looking good for the US Marines. This next turn 3, I can bring on my LCM with the Sherman, but it's going to take a little bit of time to get onto the beach. Unfortunately for the Marines, Colin had the first dice out and hit it again with his howitzer, because it only needed 2.
Yep.
And he's rolled and it's penetrated, and the penetration roll has set it on fire. So it's D2 pins for being set on fire, and 3 pins takes it up to 5. So leadership is 9, and it's -5. So I only need a 4.
No problem, Ken. Your dice frame, mate. Oh, Jesus, look at that. You couldn't kill yourself better than
Double
that,
6, so that it blows up. Unfortunately, all the people in it are lost, because they can only disembark D6, and I'm only 4.5 inches on the table, which takes them up to 10.5, and the beach is 12 away.
Well, yes.
So if I get a 6, I'm still not going to be far enough on, am I?
No.
So 4.5 plus
6 is 10.5.
6 is 10.5. So they're still
1.5.
going to drown. So all those units in there are lost.
Is it all of them?
All of them.
That's very harsh.
It is very harsh. That is
Catastrophic.
trying to land on the beach and being at sea.
And be getting lucky, getting a 5.
And you're being lucky to get that 5
well, I
initially.
got 6 actually, but
Yeah. I've done a snap 2 with my first lieutenant. No, it's UNC, isn't it? UMSC. UMSC, yeah. USMC. So he is a lieutenant. So he's a first lieutenant, and he has snapped to the bazooka team, and they are going for an heroic shot.
they are.
Following Colin's 6s, I am going to try and get a 6 followed by a 6 to take out that tank.
Good luck, Ken.
That is what I'm going to do. I think I'm feeling very lucky.
You deserve it. Half lucky then.
It bounced off the 6.
The only problem.
Turn 3 has been rather harsh for the Marines. We've lost the LBT and also all the troops that were inside it, because it was in deep water. So we've lost those. We've also lost the bazooka team. That was hit by the heavy machine gun from the little bunker. And the 1st infantry unit went down, involuntary, because they failed a leadership test. And I put this unit down because they were targeted by the mortar again. We've advanced up the LVT, the Buffalo, and taken a couple of shots at the artillery piece, but still didn't hit it. Sniper team that you can see just in there has taken one hit and lost a man and got one pin, but did pass his leadership test. So yeah, not looking good. On this side we have brought on the LCM with the Sherman. That was shot at by the little tank over on the far side, but it missed. So end of turn 3, 4 dice already to the Japanese, and we're only on the halfway mark with some poorly feeling infantry units. So it's going to be a hard graft. Colin is going to roll for his mortar, which is hidden away behind the shrubbery. The spotter is in the house here, so he can drop a mortar round on here, remembering it's -1, so rather than a 6 initially, it's a 5.
You ready?
Yep.
Oh, for God's sake.
And another 6.
Sorry, Kane, that's just ridiculous.
That's another 6. So Colin is doing some very cheeky little natural 6 rolls for his mortars. So that's a hit on the LCM. Let's work out what the damage is. We've worked it out, so Colin will need a 4, 5 or 6 to penetrate because it's open topped.
Okay.
Yep.
2.
A 2. So that isn't
Even
penetrating
glance.
it at all.
No,
No,
it's
not
just,
even glancing.
it's just a
Phew, just the pins.
D3, is it? Or D2? It's a medium howitzer. Medium mortar.
Medium mortar. Oh, can't remember.
Well, let's see what we get first. I think it's probably
3. That's probably going to be 2 pins.
I
Possibly.
think probably 2 pins.
End of turn 4, and the Japanese heavy machine gun is really taking its toll. The 8 shots at -3 because of the HMG, the -1 penetration or the +1 penetration, has really been wreaking havoc with it. Fortunately, the little tank firing at the LCM has missed twice now. The mortar, though, with that lucky 6 again, I've now got 2 pins on the LCM, and I'm not sure how far that is going to go forward this turn. Not very far, I don't think. So, yeah, this unit here, they got hit by that heavy machine gun, lost enough men to take a leadership test, and failed, because I was thinking I was at about -4 pins, wasn't I, or something like that.
Something like that.
-4 pins at least. So they are deceased there. So we haven't got very much left. We've got the Buffalo that we put forward, and that did put a pin on the heavy howitzer, and that meant the heavy howitzer failed its leadership test and went down. So that was a little bonus for it, but I'm not sure how long it's going to survive. So let's go into turn 5, and oh yeah, what else did we do? Colin did bring his little Japanese people out from the bunker, and they're running down towards the beach. They've got to be careful because they get a bit soggy if they go too far.
Yeah.
So, on to turn 5.
I can't remember.
I did get the first dice of turn 5 and tried to move the LCM with the Sherman. However, failed the leadership test with the 2 pins, and it went down. So that's irritating, to say the least. Next dice out for the Japanese, and Colin is going to fire the little tanky at the Buffalo.
Needing a 4.
Needing a 4.
Oh, for
And
God's
it's
sake.
another 6. Yep.
Okay.
These 6s have been very, very frequent tonight
Well,
on Colin's
there's
dice roll.
been 4 of them, but they've all been when they're needed.
It's true.
Penetration would be 4 down to 3.
Yeah.
Armour 6. 4
Yes.
plus. No.
Oh, well, 1 pin.
I can't seem to
And
penetrate
survive,
the armour, can
which
I?
is a bonus. Mortar shot on the LMC is a 2 plus because it's ranged in, and I hadn't moved because I went down. So Collins hit it, penetrated it, and set this one on fire as well. So, going to do a leadership test, like last time, with 2 dice and 4 pins, which is going to be 5, 6. It was close. So I'm still in deep water. So, therefore, we have sunk with the Sherman. So, yep, sad state of affairs for the old Sherman and the LCM. So we're going to call it a day at this with the sinking of the LCM and the Sherman. I'm not going to get where I need to be for any points at all, because these are just going to get mowed down. There's just too many machine guns to deal with, and this over here is going to be targeted quite heavily next with the tank and the big gun. I'm not going to be able to probably knock it out. So, a win to Colin on this corner of the little Japanese island, and we'll move on to scenario 2 next, which is the
me landing on you.
Americans have got a toehold on the other part of the island, and the Japanese are counter-attacking. Yeah. So we'll see if we can return the pleasure to Colin in the next game. But thank you very much, Colin.
That was good.
That was a bit of a sinking for the Americans.
Well, it was all the 6s, wasn't it?
It was a lot of 6s. Colin did roll a lot of 6s to hit when he needed 6s or 5s. So that was a big difference.
And it could have been a lot worse if I'd have penetrated all the armour with everyone I hit.
You were hitting, but not penetrated.
It was taking 2 or 3.
Yeah. But next game we shall see how we can turn the tables. Well, that was very brutal for my beach landing, and having read a number of accounts now of beach landings from Palau and some of the Normandy ones and Operation Husky, it panned out fairly true to life for some of the participants in it. It gave a really good flavour of it. Things that were a problem with it, well, I think certainly is with trying to get the troops ashore, just that initial bit over the deep water and the shallow water. It just seems a bit tricky with the distance that has got to be travelled. However, it was an interesting game, and looking forward to the next one where I shall be the US Marines and awaiting a counterattack from the Japanese. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Short as it was, with the sea landing. I hope you did enjoy it, and give it a thumbs up if you did. Sorry for the I'm still having problems with some of the sound. I think I put my thumb over the microphone on occasions when I'm getting carried away when I'm filming. But anyway, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification button to see when the next one's up. I'm hoping to get them out a little bit more frequently. We're doing it seems to be every 2 weeks at the moment. Trying to up it. Still trying to get some games in at Lost Ark Games. We're playing there, but unfortunately there's like 4 or 5 games going on at one time, so it doesn't really help for doing the videos, live videos. I've got a Rebels and Patriots one that I'm going to put together, but it'll be voiceover of it after the event. Anyway, I'll do an update of the channel, where we are, what we're doing, because that's a little bit behind now, and we'll see what's in store for the coming Christmas period. Good Lord. And then into the new year. Anyway, until the next time, take care.